Hello! Welcome back to Volume 2 of my attempt to get a doctorate. It's been 3 weeks since Episode 1, and that doesn't feel very long at all. I remember first spending the afternoon working out how to make this incoherent. So it's been weird that it's been 3 weeks, but we are at 3 weeks. So welcome to Volume 2. I've had some cool things happen over the last 3 weeks. I've got a couple of notes here to bring up because there's some really interesting stuff that's happened, and hopefully you will find it interesting. And I shall try and keep it below 10 minutes. This is the second recording, as it were, because the first one went on for a little bit. I had issues with the sound. So hopefully this will sound a bit better and be a bit more coherent. So, things that have happened. Job 1 is I finished my bibliography. My bibliography is a collection of primary and secondary material. Particularly my secondary material, I have been exposed to a lot more than I had anticipated needing to be exposed to, particularly with regards to sort of more general political themes and political history. My supervisor has been, we'll say, of the two of them, one of them in particular has been very keen for me to do more reading about the 18th century government and how it worked. So that's been a really big push. The other really big thing has been primary sources, and what that basically has meant is scrolling through catalogues. And I've discovered some really cool things and some less cool things. My really cool thing is that I've discovered a whole wealth of knowledge of artefacts, particularly in the Orkney Islands, which is going to mean going to the Orkney Islands, but also across the Highlands. And what that's going to mean is going on a massive road trip, which my partner has very graciously agreed to do for reasons I am yet to understand. I think she's planning to go and see some of the Highlands while I'm scrolling through many, many dusty archives. But we will see. Particularly the Orkney Islands should be good fun. The other major challenge I've discovered is a series of legal documents from Jersey in the Channel Islands, and maybe some people know, Jersey doesn't speak English, or hasn't done for a long time. The people of Jersey speak, I can't pronounce it, I'm not going to try, but their dialect is, my understanding is that it's a sort of collection of English, a lot of Norman French in particular, so it's almost not developed in the same way as modern French has, and apparently a bit of Breton. So it's this sort of amalgamation of different stuff. Their legal language is French, as in what we would call French, and I don't speak French. So I've been very, very lucky to have a friend who I made in Vancouver 4 years ago offer to read through it all and translate it for me. I will transcribe the documents and he will then translate them, and I'm very grateful to him for offering to do that. Very grateful. The big, less cool discovery is that I have found out how much of the work I did 2 years ago is not very thorough. And so I have had to go back for a lot of it and uncover different bits of it and reconsider elements. The big consideration has been to think about not just using one item, so one letter, but also looking at the entire chain, the entire file. And what that means is that I have, in a couple of instances, put down that I will examine this person's entire life correspondence, which is a little bit terrifying because that's a lot of paperwork. Anyway, primary sources aside, I'm now getting into the real meat of the reading, and it's been lovely to get back into reading. My major concern really is that I have forgotten how to read. And I don't know if it's TV shows, or if it's the internet, or if it's just having worked a little bit. I sort of don't really read for pleasure anymore, and I need to get back into it. I am getting there with the academic reading. The big thing really is that I am finding it enjoyable once I get reading. It's just getting reading, making myself do it. So there you are, 10 years time, Rory. Keep reading, do some reading. What I'm finding useful is going through, making notes on particular pages of interest, and then writing a 400-word summary, an annotated bibliographic summary, effectively, which has been really useful. And I owe Louise Bell a massive debt of thanks for that idea. My supervisors have been wonderful. I am learning a lot from them, and particularly with regards to my relationship with them, they are both very learned, interesting people. I'm learning a lot from them. It is a different feel to undergraduate and masters. There is a different relationship there, which I was told to prepare for. It's still a bit weird, and I'm still getting used to it a bit. But the academic community at large, both at university, which has been lovely, although there's not many people of my period, which is a little bit of a shame. But there are, particularly Twitter has been very welcoming and very wonderful. So, and I particularly owe Andy Dorman a shout out here, as a thanks for helping me go through the National Library of Ireland's catalogue and helping me understand how it works. And that sort of support has been really wonderful. Sort of was getting to this stage where I'm still not really sure what I'm doing a lot of the time. So it's really nice having that support there and knowing that people are invested, maybe not invested. People certainly take an interest, which is really lovely. I've also become involved with the War and Peace cluster at Leeds. So I'm hoping in the next couple of months you'll start to see some stuff from that. Hopefully some really positive things. I'm really looking forward to the challenge of being part of the larger community. So yeah, in terms of sort of student life, as it were, I'm really enjoying playing trombone again. Hockey, I'm still been off because of my knee, but I'm hoping to get back into that soon. My big thing really is that I have taken on far too much this term, so I have learned my lesson, which is to not take on too much and to say no sometimes, and that's fine. I've always had a bit of a problem with being busy, and so I have learned now that needs to stop, basically. Although, as you can hear, my partner and I have come down with a cold that's just not shifting. So we are, as she says, a house of plague. So I've been a bit hamstrung with getting out and keeping consistently motivated because I've been up and down. Some days I feel fine and I go out and do stuff and I'm fine. Some days I'm at home just coughing. It will go eventually. I guess the weather doesn't help. It's been certainly colder up here than I was expecting, and maybe I've been sheltered through studying in West Wales and Canterbury from the fearsome winters up here. Just rainy a lot at the moment, which is fine, I guess. I'm hoping to get some work with the university soon with regards to outreach stuff, so working with schools. My partner has been absolutely wonderful in supporting me, not just financially, but especially the last couple of weeks where I've been particularly struggling with the depth of the work I need to do. She's been wonderful and supporting me, and I owe that thanks to my whole family really for putting up with endless trips to castles and stately homes and reenactments and everything else. So if there's one takeaway from episode 2 of my mammoth saga, is that I am very grateful to everybody for tolerating my nonsense. That is, I want to go and be a lecturer and I want to go and teach history because I feel like not enough people appreciate that a lot of academics get support from family and friends, and I really have done as well, especially the last couple of months. So yeah, that's episode 2. Episode 3 will probably be in a couple of weeks with a bit more of an idea of what I'm going to be doing for the next semester or so. I've got some archive trips I need to plan. I've got transfer to prepare for. I've got a couple other bits to do. So yeah, Goodbye. See you next time.